And then I think maybe they reach that goal and then they're not happy. But what is your thought mindset on defining your rich, and how do you find your personal rich? And not in terms of money, but just in fulfillment.
No, it's sorry. It's a lot of people don't like talking about money because they think it's crass. But money is just energy. It's just all the whole of the universe is made of energy, just showing itself up in different forms. And so you convert labor into payment, which is then converted into a money form, which you then convert into something
Yeah.
else. It's just conversion of energy, and you have to get used to talking about it because in business, one day you're talking about $200, and the next, a year later you're talking about 200 million. I mean, that's how quickly things move these days. So you have to get comfortable with it, otherwise it'll pass you by. Um, you mentioned goals a few times. You say I don't really believe in goals, and I've never really had goals or followed goals. My thing is intentions, which are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So goals are a little bit like stepping stones across a pond. Okay, you know where you're going, and people talk about them being, believable to be achievable and all this kind of nonsense. I've never followed any of that, but I understand why people do that. But if you want to go from starting to let's use a real life recent example like mirror.com, which is the big mirror fitness thing. I mean, there's a wonderful entrepreneur. She came up with the idea, I think, around Christmas Eve. She sold it less than 2 years later for 500 million. That's the opportunity that exists today with technology and everything like that. She didn't start off saying, how do I get from here across this pond by the stepping stones? If she'd set goals, she never would have made it. What she did was she set an intention. And she had the intention that this would be taken up by a major store in the United States, and that they would, they'd buy her out, which they did for 500 million. Lululemon bought her out, who was one of the original investors in it. That's an intention, going from 0 to 500 million. A goal is going from, where I am now to 2 million. 2 million is nothing today. That's not rich. The official definition of being a multimillionaire today is to have 30 million. 30 million in rapidly liquid assets, if you like. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was growing up, nobody knew a millionaire. No one could conceive what a millionaire would be like. We imagined it'd be a man in a fur coat with a hat and a cigar. Because a million was so much. Well, today there's 500 million millionaires today. It's not that much. And so, most people are talking about, that they talk about billions. Like when I was growing up, we used to talk about millions. And so a billion is an intention. And if that sounds crazy for people who are listening to this, the average age of a first-time self-made billionaire is still 63 years old. So it's still a lot of people think, oh, a billionaire is like 25 years old now and you've got some kind of technology thing. It's not. It's still the same as it used to be. But that's an intention. So it's going from where you are now to being, and financial independence is not, in my opinion, like the summit of a mountain that you climb to and you get there and you go, hey, I'm here, I've done it. Because the minute you do that, you stagnate the energy and it all leaves you. So financial independence is about getting to a point where the energy of money flows through your life at such a high rate that you live this life of the billionaire, if you like. So if you I'll take an example like a Richard Branson. Richard Branson doesn't have a Hogwarts vault where he sits on gold coins. He makes some money and then he says, okay, now where does this money energy go? And he starts something else. And then that grows and he sells and exits and he starts something else. And that's what I've done with my businesses. So, my current business number 4, I'm in negotiations to exit that now. And the negotiations will take probably a year to 18 months from this point in time. It's $1 billion exit. Now, I don't get $1 billion because I have investors. Right. I'll make a lot of investors very happy, smiling from ear to ear. But I'm also enjoying that process too. So when people look at me, they'll say, oh, look, that guy's a billionaire. But it isn't a thing. That guy lives the life of a billionaire because that kind of money is now flowing through his life. And the more you let it flow, the more flows. So a lot of people, again, young entrepreneurs don't get this. And they say, okay, I want to be rich. And they think, okay, what's rich? Oh, it's at like a station on a railway track. It's 2 million or 5 million. But that's not rich. That's when that happens, if you get to that point and then you put your arms around it and embrace it or stuff the cash under the mattress, it loses all its energy. It stagnates and it starts to leave you. So you have to change your mentality completely about money and energy so that you talk about, I am financially independent, which means that I'm living this life where I'm making multi-million-dollar decisions every day. And that's great fun, right? And yeah. it's much better than thinking about goals and then your mindset is about, okay, my credit card, I've got to pay off my credit card this week. You have to really shift your mindset away from a sense of lack to a sense of flow. And it's 3 Simple Steps. My book, 3 Simple Steps, tells you all everything